to be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feeling.
That's not a request that we made. That being said, I want to be clear, that would have no bearing in terms, whether he participated or not, that has no bearing in terms of how we think of it, but I don't know. Did you see our meeting, in the room, so to speak?
Mike Tomlin doesn't usually talk like this. The Steelers head coach is known for discipline, control, and quiet dominance. But when he decided to publicly call out Browns general manager Andrew Berry, it wasn't a slip, it was a detonation. He broke one of the NFL's most sacred rules.
But now I can ask it in earnest. Who's the bigger problem? Is it Andrew Berry or is it Kevin Stefanski with this team?
I think it's Andrew Berry. I think that the talent.
Tell me why.
I think the talent on this team assembled has not been good enough, and that is across all levels. And yes, we have to sit here and say that the 2025 draft that Andrew Berry had looks like a smashing success. It looks like they have a lot of guys that are going to be good players in the NFL for a long time. However, I think a lot of what he has done in years leading up to that has put us in the results that we are in right now. Even if you don't want to put the Deshaun Watson trade, which I think is the worst trade in the history of this sport, if you want to put that on ownership and not on Andrew Berry, okay.
You don't call out another team's executive by name, ever. Yet Tomlin did it with a smirk that said, "Enough is enough." The spark? A move so baffling it felt like a prank.
Max, Mike Tomlin confirmed not an Andrew Berry guy.
Not an Andrew Berry guy. Look, I think it was a subtle shot at Andrew Berry, but let's be real. I don't think it would have been as big of a deal in his mind if they weren't playing the Bengals on a short week, who, by the way, looked pretty solid yesterday with Joe Flacco quarterback against arguably the best team in the NFC. I don't know, what did you think of those?
So shot. That was shots of all shots, hip fire, quick trigger. You better look out and duck below. That's what type of shot that was. But there's a lot of comments going on that, is it part of the head coach fraternity? Maybe trying to side with Kevin Stefanski? I don't know. Either way, I think if Mike Tomlin magically got fired today, he wouldn't even think about taking it.
The Cleveland Browns, in the middle of a playoff hunt, traded Joe Flacco, their own starting quarterback, to a division rival. You don't need to be a football genius to know that's like giving your enemy your best weapon and wishing them luck. The Browns made the kind of decision that makes analysts shake their heads and fans question reality. Tomlin saw it for what it was, chaos disguised as confidence. He called Berry too smart for his own good, a subtle jab that spread across the league like wildfire. And just like that, the quiet rivalry between Pittsburgh and Cleveland ignited into something much bigger.
But I think there have been a lot of shortcomings in other areas of talent acquisition that have led the Browns to be where they are right now. Why has this offensive line gotten so bad? Are you telling me that because Bill Callahan's not here, the offensive line is this horrific? I'm not saying it needs to be the best, but it shouldn't be this bad. How come you have not been able to find a young receiver that doesn't need to be making a lot of money that's serviceable? I'm not asking for Justin Jefferson. I'm not asking for Jamar Chase. I'm asking for average. And you can't even get that out of the receiver position unless you make a trade for it. And that only lasts so long. And Jerry Jeudy is not even as good as Amari Cooper was when Amari Cooper first got here.
It wasn't just about a trade anymore. It was about ego, pride, and the Browns' never-ending obsession with proving they're the smartest people in the room. Behind closed doors, Browns insiders were fuming. Reporters whispered about tension between head coach Kevin Stefanski and Berry. Some said Stefanski was tired of being the fall guy for front office blunders.
Hey, Mike Tomlin, hi. Mike Tomlin looking at Cleveland talking about and Andrew Berry them like, bruh, what y'all doing? Y'all take Joe Flacco, which you made him your starting quarterback, and then you send him to a team in our division, yours and mine, to a team that need a quarterback. That's all they need is a quarterback. That ain't smart. He must be smarter than me and the team here. Mike Tomlin didn't like that, like, bruh.
Others hinted that he might not return next season at all. One thing was clear, the walls inside the Browns' headquarters were cracking, and everyone could hear the echo. Cleveland's front office has always been a roller coaster. They've turned quarterback decisions into national headlines for all the wrong reasons. Baker Mayfield, gone. Deshaun Watson, brought in with a record-setting contract that destroyed the team's flexibility. And now, Joe Flacco, traded midseason to a rival who desperately needed him.
A lot of people was wondering what the hell is going on with the Cleveland Browns. Now, I am about to tell you guys what sources has been saying, what people in the media is saying that is currently going on with the Cleveland Browns, and it's just hell freezing over for them. I don't believe Kevin Stefanski is going to be the coach next year. I believe Andrew Berry's definitely going to be there. I don't believe Kevin Stefanski is going to be coaching the Browns next year. Kevin Stefanski is pretty much throwing up the big middle fingers to the Browns organization and the Browns coaching staff.
Every move seems like a master plan until it detonates. To understand how wild this is, you have to know how the league works. Coaches like Mike Tomlin live by an unwritten code of respect. No public shots, no media shade, especially not toward another organization's GM. But Tomlin's patience snapped. In his eyes, Berry didn't just make a bad move, he violated competitive integrity. He armed the enemy, and in the AFC North, that's unforgivable. Pittsburgh's coach said it best without saying much. He must be smarter than me. That single line carried more fire than any rant could. It wasn't just sarcasm, it was a warning shot. Tomlin has faced the Browns 20+ times and beaten them in nearly all of them. But this time, it wasn't about scoreboard dominance. It was about calling out dysfunction that has haunted Cleveland for decades. The Browns, meanwhile, acted like nothing happened. Stefanski brushed off the controversy with a cold, no comment, a move that said more than words ever could. Silence from a coach usually means one thing: frustration. Reports suggest Stefanski didn't approve the Flacco trade and was blindsided by it. If true, that means the Browns' leadership is divided at the worst possible time. And as if the drama wasn't enough, a new name began to swirl through Cleveland's chaos: Shedeur Sanders. The college star who's already making NFL scouts drool became the center of rumors. Could he be the one to finally save the Browns? Would he even want to? Because from the outside looking in, Cleveland looks less like a football team and more like a case study in how not to run a franchise. Sanders represents everything the Browns aren't: calm, calculated, composed. While their front office burns, he's rising as a potential franchise changer. But even if the Browns get the chance to draft him, fans can't shake the question: what happens when Cleveland touches something good? History says they'll find a way to break it. The Browns' reputation for chaos isn't new. They've made desperate trades, bad signings, and impulsive coaching changes for years. Every time they get close to stability, they press the self-destruct button. And that's why Mike Tomlin's words cut so deep. Because he wasn't just throwing shade, he was telling the truth. And just when you think this story couldn't get any crazier, it does. Because what came next pushed the tension between these franchises to the edge. Tomlin's comments weren't just heard, they were remembered. And inside Cleveland, the fallout was only beginning. The fallout from Mike Tomlin's comments didn't stay quiet for long. It spread like wildfire across sports talk shows, podcasts, and locker rooms. Every headline screamed the same thing: Tomlin breaks the code. The Browns' front office looked stunned, unprepared for the kind of public humiliation that comes when one of the NFL's most respected coaches calls you out by name. Andrew Berry stayed silent, but inside team headquarters, the tension was electric. Cleveland fans didn't know who to blame anymore: Berry for his reckless trades, Stefanski for his quiet compliance, or ownership for letting the circus continue. And the irony? The Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens were all watching in amusement. The Browns were doing their work for them, imploding in real time. Let's be honest, this wasn't just about Joe Flacco. This was about a franchise addicted to chaos. You can trace it back years. The Browns have made panic their brand. Every time something goes wrong, they double down instead of rebuilding. Baker Mayfield was supposed to be the savior. He wasn't. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be the answer. He's become a financial anchor. And now, Flacco's trade feels like a cry for help disguised as strategy. Tomlin, the definition of structure and stability, couldn't help but laugh. His organization, the Steelers, hasn't had a losing season in over a decade. Meanwhile, the Browns treat success like it's radioactive. Even when they win, they find a way to turn it into an argument. And that's the point Tomlin was making. Not just that Berry made a bad trade, but that Cleveland's culture breeds disaster. Kevin Stefanski's situation makes it worse. Sources close to the team claim he's quietly distancing himself from decisions that don't make sense. Some believe he's already checked out, planning his exit while Barry clings to control. The Browns' locker room feels the tension. Players are confused, veterans frustrated, and the young talent worried that the dysfunction will define their careers before they even begin. Then comes Shedeur Sanders, the wild card. His name keeps echoing in NFL circles as the Browns' potential future. Reports suggest Cleveland scouts are obsessed with his poise and leadership. But even if they land him, can the Browns build a foundation stable enough for him to thrive? Or will he just be the next name on a long list of what could have been stories? Around the league, executives and coaches are quietly siding with Tomlin. They won't say it publicly, but everyone knows he's right. The Browns' decisions have ripple effects beyond Cleveland. Trading a starting quarterback to a division rival mid-season doesn't just raise eyebrows, it breaks trust. It changes how other teams deal with you. And in the NFL, where relationships matter, that kind of move sticks with you. Meanwhile, AFC North rivals are licking their chops. The Bengals are thrilled to have Flacco's veteran leadership. The Steelers and Ravens know Cleveland just handed away leverage. It's a rare moment when every other team in your division benefits from your mistake. And that, more than anything, is what Tomlin wanted the world to see. As the 2025 draft approaches, the Browns are at a crossroads. Do they rebuild the right way? Patiently, methodically, or panic again and mortgage their future? Because this isn't just another bad headline. It's a legacy moment. The next few months will decide whether Cleveland finally grows up or stays trapped in the same endless loop of self-destruction. And here's the cruel twist. While the Browns scramble to explain themselves, Shedeur Sanders is quietly preparing for the next chapter of his career. Calm, confident, and ready for the spotlight. He's everything Cleveland wants but can't seem to handle. And somewhere in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin is probably smiling. Not because he hates the Browns, but because he knows chaos always loses. That's the truth of the AFC North. You can survive bad luck. You can survive bad calls. But you can't survive bad leadership. And right now, the Cleveland Browns are living proof. Until they fix what's broken at the top, every draft pick, every coach, every new savior will fall into the same cycle. The Browns don't need another quarterback. They need a reset, and that's where we leave it. Tomlin walked away unbothered. His team focused on the playoffs. Andrew Barry walked into a storm of criticism, his credibility shaken. Kevin Stefanski stood somewhere in the middle, silent, frustrated, and wondering how much longer he can keep pretending this is fine. Meanwhile, Cleveland fans, hopeful yet haunted, watch it all unfold, knowing deep down they've seen this movie before. The Browns are on the edge again. Redemption or disaster. Genius or madness. The NFL world is watching. Because if there's one thing everyone knows about the Cleveland Browns, it's that they never do boring.
Mike Tomlin is saying what all the Browns fans are thinking, man. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry don't know what they're doing, specifically with the quarterback position. It's something I've been telling y'all. Hey, there is no proof that the Browns develop well. There's no proof that the Browns choose well at the quarterback position. Nothing has been said that they do the right thing at the quarterback position. So Mike Tomlin, after beating the Browns for the 22nd consecutive time at home, he went ahead and literally called out